Hello, winter is coming and I'm so excited to share how I made these edible and very easy ISOMALT icicles. They look quite realistic and are really fun to add on a winter wonderland cake like this. We'll make all the different decorations here and then put it together at the end. I'm using my homemade marshmallow fondant recipe. It's very easy, very cost effective, and you can find my full recipe on my website at customcakesandcupcakes.com as well as on my channel here. Whenever I'm planning on making something silver, such as with fondant, buttercream, or any other medium, I like to start with the gray color. This helps to limit how much product you'll need when you add edible glitter or sparkles. And the color gray already has your brain kind of thinking silver. I used a cutter from my shop to cut out this reindeer and then just dusted him with some edible silver luster dust. We'll move on to make a few different pine trees. I've rolled out my fondant here again, and I'm just using a texture tool to kind of poke some holes and make some scrapes in it so it has some texture. You really don't even need a set of modeling tools for this. You can even just use a fork or a butter knife or a stiff toothbrush. I'm using this same pine tree to cut out different sizes of pine trees. I've cut out a few whole ones, and then I'm actually just using the bottom to make some extra layers so I can make taller ones too, as you'll see in a bit here. I'll cut some of these apart here, reshaping them a little bit with my fingers just so they match, and then I'm going to layer them on top of one another to make taller and wider pine trees. This way they'll look layered, and you just attach them with a little brush of water to hold them all together. I wanted to give these some sparkle too, so I'll be adding edible luxe glitter dust in this Juniper color all over the pine trees. After adding the glitter, I brushed them with a little bit of water in a few places and then added this forest frost sprinkle mix. It's a mix of sanding sugar and shimmery tree shapes to add a little more sparkle and texture. The last fondant pieces I made were some snowflakes, of course. I have a cutter set of all different shapes and sizes from my Amazon storefront if you're looking for some. And I'm just making a bunch of these out of white fondant. With the plunger style cutters like these, especially when they have very fine parts like these snowflakes, you want to make sure you dust the whole thing with cornstarch very well. Otherwise it's really hard to get the fondant out from them. And then once again, some more edible glitter dust, of course, to make sure they are very sparkly snowflakes. I had two types I used here. I like them both. I couldn't decide, so I think they kind of give a unique sparkle together. I'll make sure all of these are linked in my description if you're looking for any edible glitters. Now onto the icicles. I am using pre-cooked ISOMALT tiles and also just a dash of edible glitter dust. This part is optional, of course, but I always think it's fun to make my ISOMALT sparkle even more. And I know this goes without saying, but please wear gloves with ISOMALT and even layers of gloves, so that way if you get ISOMALT stuck on the outer one, you can quickly rip it off and have another one to protect your hands. I'm just pouring them out in little puddles on my heat-safe mat here, and then you have to kind of play around and wait for what I call the sweet spot with these. That's the point where they haven't totally cooled and hardened yet. They're still flexible, but not so totally liquid hot that they're too uncomfortable to touch. Then you're just gonna poke them and prod them with your fingers until they narrow a little bit, and you can roll them into tapered icicle pieces like this. You can also twist them and pull them so they're more long and string-like this. They will cool and harden quickly, so work quickly, or maybe just use a couple at a time. I actually had to go back and remelt the other puddles I hadn't used on that mat yet here. So here I gathered those up and remelted them, and we'll make some more. There isn't really a hard and fast technique to this. It's just roll it out and twist it and pull it until you like how the icicle looks, and then move on to the next one. I do like using pre-cooked ISOMALT tiles that you can buy. I'll link those in my description as well. If you like to cook your own ISOMALT, you can certainly do that. It will still work for this project. There are a lot of recipes online, but I find that the pre-cooked tiles really save me a lot of time. So I went ahead and made a few different shapes and sizes, and here is how a couple of them turned out up close here. The sparkle is really subtle, which I like, so they're still nice and clear. This one here is probably my favorite. And now that we have all of our decorations completed, we will stack and frost the actual cake. This is a 3-layer, 5 or 6-inch cake. You can find all my recipes for cake and buttercream frostings on my website at customcakesandcupcakes.com. My vanilla buttercream recipe is also on my YouTube channel here. After adding a little dab of buttercream right on my cake board, I put my first layer down. Then I added more buttercream, just smoothed it slightly before my second layer. The third layer I placed upside down so that the top edge was actually the bottom when the cake was baking, so it's nice and flat. I do have a more in-depth video on my channel about frosting a smooth buttercream cake. If you'd like to reference that, you certainly can, but I'll just go over some basics here. After you've stacked your cake layers here, the first layer of frosting going on them is called the crumb coat. Its job is just to literally trap the crumbs after it's chilled so they don't end up in the outer decorating layer, and also to set up the shape for the outer layer. It certainly doesn't need to be perfect because we're of course going to cover it up, but it does need to set the shape up so it should be straight and even as best you can make it. I'm leveling the top with my angled offset spatula, and this cake will go into the fridge for about 20 to 30 minutes to chill and set up. Your crumb coat layer should be firm to the touch before adding your outer decorative layer. I've colored my buttercream frosting this pretty icy blue kind of turquoise color, and my goal with this outer layer is to get it to look very smooth and uniform over the cake. So it's okay to use a thicker layer here, and you are going to scrape off quite a bit later as well. My process here is to just spread it across my cake with a large offset spatula and make sure every gap is covered and that the layer is relatively even. Then I go in with my metal scraper and smooth it all out. Just hold it in one place as you're turning the turntable. Just hold it as straight as you can, perpendicular to your cake board. Again, we'll level the top with our angled offset spatula, or you can use a small offset spatula. I'm just very lightly pulling in any extra buttercream around the edge toward the center and then pulling it away, being careful not to crush the edge with my spatula. I decided to add some edible shimmer spray to this cake. This is pearl, so it gives any color buttercream kind of a pearl finish. As you can see, it's translucent. You can still see the color, but now it's shimmery. We're now going to chill this cake very well before our next step. I decided I wanted to add a drip to the top of this cake so it looks a little more snowy and icy. Here is my rough recipe for white chocolate ganache drip. I use an approximate ratio of 1 to 3 heavy cream to white chocolate chips. I say approximate because it's always a little bit different based on the brand you use, the climate where you're located, and other things. So you may find you need to add more cream or more chips depending on how you want the drip's consistency to be. Heat up the cream by itself, either just in the microwave or on the stovetop, just until bubbles develop, not till it's fully boiling. And then you can pour your chips in. Cover it and let it stand like this with a cloth over top for about 10 minutes to allow the chips to melt. Then just stir till smooth. If you notice, white chocolate ganache naturally has an off-white color to it, so I want to make it bright whiter to match my Winter Wonderland cake. I add a little bit of white gel just to get it opaque, and then just a couple dots or swirls of violet here to help make the yellow more of a gray color. Then we'll add white again to brighten it up, and then we'll end up with a bright white chocolate ganache. Once again, this part is optional, but I'm going to be adding a white edible luxe glitter dust. This actually gives the ganache a pearl finish and it looks really cool. Just a little bit goes a long way. Stir all that in together, and here's what it looks like. If you remember, our cake came out of the fridge, so it's very well chilled right now. We're going to do one little drip on the back called a test drip. Depends on the look you're going for, but for this cake, if my drip suddenly rushed all the way to the bottom and pooled at the bottom, I would maybe just let my drip cool off a little bit before I did another one. Or if the drip wouldn't move much at all, it's probably too cold, and I would just warm it up in the microwave for a few seconds. My test strip looks pretty good. I like this length, so for this style, I'm actually just going to pour it right over top, spread it around with my spatula, and let it drip wherever it does. I think just pouring it and with a little less control like this, it looks a little more snow covered. And then if you want to get your drips to stop, just pop it in the fridge for a little bit. I'm going around the bottom and just adding some dabs of white buttercream frosting to look like snow. This was a nice easy border because I didn't want it to look perfect, just like some little snow drips, so I just dabbed it on, went around the cake like this, and then I did smooth it out a little bit afterward. Once again, I'll be using this Forest Frost mix to add a little extra sparkle. I loved it because the colors were all the colors we used in this project, so it matched perfectly. I'm going to start by just sprinkling it on with very clean hands, and then I'm going to use my offset spatula to help press some of the bottom ones up into the snowy buttercream like this. It also got sprinkled on the top of the cake, and it stuck well to the white chocolate ganache. And to get it on the drips, I honestly just took some handfuls and just kind of threw it at the cake and saw what stuck. I kind of like the uncontrolled look because it's supposed to look like a winter wonderland, and I think it looked kind of fun like this. And now we will finally add all those decorations we made earlier. Little dab of fresh buttercream to stick on my pine trees here as a background. And next we'll pop the icicles on. These I found actually stuck well into the drip. It was still sticky enough, so I didn't need to use any additional buttercream or water or anything to attach them. And then I decided to add some snow to my trees, so I'm just using a small, this is actually a palette knife, often used for painting, to dab a little snow on my treetops and on the trees a little bit. And then I added a little more of the sprinkles into the fresh snow so they would match the rest of the cake. And next our snowflakes went on. They also stuck well into the ganache, and then you can also add a little bit of buttercream if you need help sticking them on other spots as well. And last but not least, our silver deer could join the party finally. Loved how sparkly and wintry this turned out. I think this would be a lot of fun for really any holiday gathering, not just Christmas or Hanukkah, but also perhaps New Year's too. You could also pop a little Anna, Elsa, and Olaf on top and you'd have a frozen cake. Thanks very much for watching. Let me know in the comments what you would add to your Winter Wonderland cake, and here are a couple of videos that YouTube believes you'd love to see next.